So for starters, everyone go ahead and take a nice big breath in. As the breath comes out, relax, let go. What you'll find is there's a little space right in between the breath. Right there, I just took a breath in, I relaxed, let go, and now I'm resting in the space between the breath. There's a little space. And I'm just holding this space. Just resting here. The breath keeps going on its own, yet I'm resting in this space between the breath. This is so key. I can't say this enough. I'm starting with this as I do every seminar that we do. The breath goes like this. It's like a pendulum. It goes like this, back and forth, or up and down, in and out. And right at the top, just like a pendulum, right at the top before it starts to come down, there's a space. Just like the pendulum, it goes up, and there's one moment there before it turns direction and starts going back, where it kind of hangs for a moment. And then it goes like this, and then it stops. You ever been on one of those rides at the carnival, where it goes up? That moment's clear, and it's like, whoosh, and then it comes back down, and then it stops. Well, in the same way, the breath is doing this. And in my life, I use this process we call Stillpoint, as do many people in our network globally. And to me, I just want to start, as I do every seminar with this, because to me, yes, we developed a laser, and the laser is a great technology. From my perspective, the real thing that we have developed and cultivated, to me, that's really significant, is the technology of perception, which we call Stillpoint. To me, this is really, the real technology that I work with. In fact, the reason the laser, from my perspective, is as effective as it is because I translated this experience of resting in this neutral space into the laser. In fact, when we built the laser, we built it with a technology called Scalarwave technology. Really, Scalarwave technology, to me, is synonymous with Stillpoint technology. It's the exact same thing. So the breath, you have the in, and then you have the space, and the out, and the space. In the laser, you have the laser coming out, and then you have these waves that go like this. Well, whenever the waves, that's the scalar technology. Whenever they go like this, whoosh, it drops into the space of Stillpoint. So this is the same thing. This is a reflection, from my perspective, the laser that we work with, of this technology of Stillpoint. And so I want to kind of, as we move through the day, kind of keep coming back to that, because that, from my perspective, is the key thing that I work with when I'm dealing with an injury or an emotional stress or some other challenge that's going on in our life or around us in a situation. We got a phone call. I shared this yesterday with the group in Lethbridge, and to me it's such an important piece right now, because right now, as I'm sure many of you have noticed on the planet right now, there is an acceleration going on. There is a amplification of situations, and what that translates to is a lot of people right now are kind of going like this, are getting cooked up. I have heard in the last few days 3 or 4 things people have come to us with challenges and situations that were so profound. Could be a health challenge, could be a diagnosis, could be a change in life relationship, a work situation, another series of circumstances, economic situations. Yet these situations for people are kind of very strong right now, very strong. And one of the people that came to us, given some news from a doctor, and the situation was so overwhelming to them that they couldn't breathe. They were having trouble just breathing. And they were waiting for some new information about the situation, and they called us up and said, hey, and I got on the phone, and the first thing I said, take a big breath in. And just right at the top, another way you can do it is take the breath in, and right at the top, it feels like holding the breath. Just take a breath in and just kind of almost pretend to hold the breath. And then don't hold the breath, just relax. The breath will keep going like it does when you sleep. The breath is still going. And as soon as I shared it, everything relaxed. We chatted a little bit. Later on, we heard, she touched back in with us, and later on, and she shared with us that held the entire day. So she navigated her way through the rest of the day, had people around, family, it was a lot, and yet she held. If she got a little bit, she did that same thing and dropped in again. I'm sharing this because, from my perspective, This technology, this is a ancient technology that's been used by shamans, by healers, by yogis, by meditators, by saints. They all talk about it. They call it the silence. They call it the space between the breath. They have different names. I call Stillpoint. Powerful technology. If you leave today with one thing, you leave with a renewed sense of using this as an operating system. You know, most people in the last season on planet Earth used thinking as their primary operating system. Thinking. They processed everything through thinking. Thinking. You know, babies don't come in thinking. Young folks come in here as an open source of energy, which is why everyone around them is amazed, and even the hardest of men, goo goo gaga, there's a font of neutral energy of the universe, whatever name you want to give it. That energy is strong. Anyone who's near that is like, wow, it's like being near a fountain or a spring. Well, from my perspective, thinking gets trained in people in school in a certain process, so they start to hold the reference of perception. Well, this is the most powerful muscle on planet Earth, perception, by far, that I've come across with. It's the most underflexed muscle also on planet Earth. From my perspective, this works exactly like a computer. Whatever program or operating system you have running here is what you are going to get in life. You have the operating system of thinking going on. Thinking, to me, thinking is like DOS. It's the old one, you know, where you spit something in and it spits something out and you spit something in. You know, who uses DOS anymore? Nobody uses DOS. People use the new operating system. You know, you point, you click, you just talk into it and it does something for you. The new operating system. Well, to me, Stillpoint to me is in my life, what works for us. You try it. You kick it around. See if it's real. See if it works. If it doesn't work, don't do it. In my life, Stillpoint is a nonlinear operating system. It's like the new operating system for me. I spend as much of my day as I can right here. I tell you, it's like a radio tuner. You know, you tune this to thinking, you get thinking. You tune it to emotions, you get emotions. You tune it to neutrality, resting here in neutrality, you get neutrality. Which, by the way, neutrality to me is the same thing as prana, or chi, or universal energy, or spirit. The energy of the universe, the fabric, the essence that threads together everything from the stars to the galaxies, to the universe, to the cells, to the elements, to the organs. Every single thing is woven from this neutral essence, whatever name you want to give it. And in my life, my goal is constantly to dissolve things and invite them to come back into this neutral state. Today we're going to go through some easy to use approaches that we take in order to do this. One last moment. Everyone go ahead and take one more big breath in. And just drop into the space in between the breath. And just rest for a moment. Just rest. Hold this space. All right, good. Everyone try one more thing. I want to just kind of point out one more thing to me, which is really important, and then we'll shift over to the laser. Everyone try something. Everyone go ahead and take a breath in. Take another breath in. Now as the breath is in, as you breathe out, try to hold on to a thought or an emotion as the breath comes out. It's not so easy. Try again. Take another breath in, another big breath in. And now as the breath comes out, try to hold on to an area of tension or pain in the body. It's not easy. In fact, I can't do it. If I really let go and hold out and breathe out, you can't hold on to it. And the reason I share that is because to me, this is probably the most important principle right here that I'm going to discuss today. And it works like this. This is key. If you get this, the rest of the things we're going to cover are going to make a lot of sense. When the body breathes out, the body shifts to neutral. And in neutrality, you can't hold on to polarity. You can't hold on to polarity. So when your body shifts to neutrality, the things, injuries, cell memories, emotions, thoughts, those things are polarity. In the East, they call it karma. Those are things. In our seminar and retreat work that we do, we call those things. Well, when you breathe out and go into neutrality, you can't hold on to things. I learned this from a yogi years ago. Years ago, I was in India, and this yogi was amazing. I saw people come to this yogi for different challenges, different situations. They'd come to the yogi, and the yogi would basically say the same thing to everyone. They'd tell them the problem, the health problem. He'd say, it's okay, it's just karma. And then they'd go. Someone else would come. Thousands of people would come, and the yogi would say, it's okay. He always stayed in this state of pure love, unconditional love, acceptance for whatever was going on. And then he'd say the same thing, it's karma. And I'd hear the stories about this yogi, that people would come back, and their lives, it didn't mean they got healed, yet their perception around the situation changed. Well, I was really intrigued by this, and I was like, well, what's going on here? So I hung around this yogi for a while, and one day this yogi said something. He said to a few of us, there are only two things in the universe. Polarity, he said, there's two things in the universe, karma and love. That was his whole religion, his whole reality. So every challenge he saw, he said it's karma, yet he always stayed in this state of understanding, compassion, and love. Well, from my perspective, I translate it differently. To me, I see the same thing. There's polarity and there's neutrality. And it's our choice in every moment. Do we want to hold on to things, old injuries, old emotions, stress, judgments, beliefs? Or do we want to welcome those things, dissolve them, and allow them to come back to the place of neutrality? It's our choice. I tell you, when I use polarity, it's the same thing as karma. And karma, everyone thinks karma. I don't like to use that word because it sounds very complicated and like you need to go to India or something to figure it out. Well, from my perspective, it's not complicated. Karma is up to you. Do you want to hold things or do you want to dissolve things? And from my perspective, there is one secret to dissolving things. Listen to this. This is the key. This is the key that releases karma, from my perspective. And the secret, I already told you, it's such a good secret, I already told you what it is. It's not a secret anymore. Stillpoint. In fact, everyone take one more. Take a breath in and drop in right here. Now, as you're resting right here, I'm resting here, I took a breath in, dropped right in. Look around. As you're resting here, see if it's easy to find any thoughts or emotion. Not easy for me. Look around on the body. Any injuries, tension, or pain? Not easy. I tell you, the reason that I like to live in Stillpoint, the whole reason that I spend my life, every hour I drop in. I have some stress, I take a breath, I drop in. The reason that I travel the planet doing seminars and live streams and retreats all around this is because, from my perspective, this is exactly like the out-breath. It's neutrality. When you rest here in neutrality, the energy of the universe. We're talking here about the 99.9999999% space, the energy of the universe. And that 0.000000001, that's all of the galaxies, the stars, and the planets. It's not just the planets. That's all matter. The rest is this huge expanse of neutral energy. So the more you rest here in this neutral energy, you become like a tuner. You're now pulling in this energy from the universe. I want to say one more thing about this, and then we're going to shift into lasers. As we're resting here, does it feel good? Only you can answer that. You check in. Does this feel nice? For me, it feels great. I want you to just check in. How does your face feel? Does your face feel relaxed? The thing I hear in our retreats a lot when I ask people, what's the experience when you're resting here? They say it feels peaceful. It feels like they've come home. Some people say it's easy, ease, free. So what I want you to do throughout the day, the benefit to coming to one of our seminars, a Stillpoint seminar, or one of our retreats, or a live stream, from my perspective, the reason that I come is because I look for the moments when I can say to the rest of the things going on planet Earth, the things on the planet are trying to grab us constantly. And so I look for the moments when I can push those things aside and say, okay, let's carve out some space here to drop in. Let's let this neutral energy start to fill in our space. I tell you, this is the main thing that I do when I work with my own body, when I work with people who come. I get a lot of people that send emails that contact us regarding different health challenges, situations. Lily and I, we're traveling around. We get emails, we get phone calls. There is constantly stuff coming towards us with challenges and situations. And from my perspective, there is one panacea for every single thing that comes. And I tell people, unwind it and drop in neutrality.